Hello, welcome back to the Think Rugby podcast with myself and Andy Moe on the other side of the screen today. Now, this one, it has been long in the woodwork, long in the making. I've been anticipating this, and I'm quite nervous actually. I think I'm going to get slagged in the comments so much. I'm slagged live with Andy. So it is our British and Irish Lions starting 15 plus my full 23 man squad for starting the tests against Australia. Never mind the midweek games, that'll be for the dribs and drabs, but for actually starting the test against Australia. So, how was your weekend? How was your weekend of rugby first before we get into this?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Got 20 minutes off the bench with a lot of the more experienced guys coming back in for Shetland. We won, I think it was 64-23 or something
So,
along those lines.
I would take that for an away day. Not bad, not bad. Good pissing on
Pretty
the way
good,
home.
yeah. Oh, of course. Last away day of the season.
Oh, even better, even better. Well, I was at the Banff vs Lochaber plate semi final. It was either the plate or the cup semi final at Duff House at Banff, both our former clubs. You know something? It was, given the circumstances of weather, it was actually quite a physical game of rugby because you couldn't allow to fling the ball quite too far wide. It was very greasy, especially along the floor. A lot of good tactical kicking from both sides. The full time score was 10 points to 22 in Lochaber's favour. Deserving winners. Sorry to say to the Banff lads, deserving winners Lochaber, but on another day it could have been completely different. Banff did say that they kind of had an off day. They're usually a bit more slick, a bit less errors and whatnot. They did knock a few balls on quite early on, trying to force that tip option, try to force it wide a bit more when it wasn't on. But you know what? That's just the way rugby goes sometimes. Well done to Banff for getting so far and doing so well in their kind of turnaround over the past couple of seasons, and also well done to Lochaber for getting to the final of the Cup / Plate, where they'll be playing down at the Hive in Edinburgh, which will be some great day for them. Okay, right. That was my weekend, so I had a few beers, caught up with some of the Banff lads as well. It was really good. I rode Coach Seb, me and him shared a couple of pints together. It was a good little catch up. And you know what? One of my more favoured clubhouses in the northeast of rugby. I quite like the Banff clubhouse. To be fair, some teams don't even have a clubhouse. Brock don't have a clubhouse. Ellen don't have a clubhouse. They just kind of go back to the pub. Have you got a clubhouse up at Shetland? No? Didn't think
No.
so. I don't even think you've got Wi-Fi there yet, do you? Okay, so moving on, moving on. We are going to go through our British Knives lines. Let's go. Let's go first. Well, obviously first 15, but let's go. How do you want to work it? Do you want to go through your
Do front row and then second row, back row, and so on.
Go on then, right? Okay, right. So, seeing how you're a now newly recruited uh, man who plays in the front row, I'll let you go first. I know you're not the front row in the park, so you're not front row, are you? My bad, my bad. No, you've not made it that far yet. Maybe a few more pints and a few more pies, and you'll maybe be there. So, front row, go on then, Andy. Start us off.
Okay, well, I have to be honest. Loosehead and Hookar, I probably struggled with these positions most out of the whole team.
Uh-huh.
I will just state right now, other than two positions, all of my picks have been based off a form from the Six Nations. So, at Loosehead, I have got Ellis Genge.
Okay. Right. I can see why. I haven't went with Ellis Genge. I have went with Andrew Porter. I can see why you went with Genge, but at the same time, I still don't quite think he's the Lions kind of quality. A cracking player at times for England, but sometimes he gets absolutely bullied. I was kind of shown at the weekend actually playing for Bears against Gloucester, he got absolutely bullied in the scrum. But if you, of course, you're basing this off Six Nations. Yeah, we have had this kind of teams like list ready for a while now, but nevertheless, I get what you're saying. For me, Andrew Porter, he's probably one of the most consistent, prolific loosehead props in the Northern Hemisphere, if not the world, for the past 3-4 years, maybe. And I don't see why you would maybe quite risk changing it because I think he would work, especially with Andy Farwell being the head coach. You know exactly what he wants, what he's looking for. A nice, steady scrum. An absolute psychopath, Nigel Porter, who goes and squats 230 kilos, 250 kilos for sets on a Sunday after playing rugby. He's an absolute madman, and I think he'd be the perfect guy for Loosehead.
Yeah, I fuck squatting that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I feel like Loosehead, there was not a single standout. Certainly like the home nations, there wasn't a single standout for Loosehead. So I'll move on to hooker and go with Dan Sheehan.
I agree with you about the kind of statement about Loosehead there. And I've also went with Dan Sheehan. Solely because this is probably a really, really difficult one for the other. I feel like if you flip it, there's a lot of quality hookers out there just now. If you think of hookers that played well in the tournament, Dave Cherry played really well for Scotland when he was given the chance. Dylan Lake for Wales, I actually think he's an outside bet to maybe not start or be on the bench, but definitely be in the Lions squad. Jamie George was solid enough. Theo Danfrey came off the bench, took his chances. Luke Cowan-Dickie as well. Well, actually, no, it wasn't Theo Danfrey, it was Luke Cowan-Dickie. He started quite a few games for England, took his chance, but I've went with Dan Sheehan solely because the amount of tries that he scores is actually unbelievable. I know hookers out is like new kind of like try scoring thing, especially off driving mauls, but oh my goodness, like he must be going for a record for like a front rower scoring amount of tries. I know he's equal Keith Wood's record for amount of tries, and he's way to exceed that with 100%, because what is he, still mid-20s at best, and he's still got another at least 10 years, I'd say, in him before he gets replaced at hooker for Ireland, unless somebody phenomenal comes along.
Yeah.
Tight head. Now, I think we went with somebody a bit different. I've just got a funny feeling we went with somebody a little bit different. I think I've went with Will Stewart.
I have not.
Have you went with Fagerson?
I have indeed, and that is all I'm going to say about Loosehead. Loosehead, tight head.
I'm not again. I can see. For me, it was like a toss up, and I kind of thought who had a better tournament overall. And I just feel Will Stewart and the scrum over the course of the tournament was just absolutely crazy. Like I've never seen him play so well. I used to think he was a bit average, but he just stepped up a gear. Okay, England were on a bit of a roll in a way most of the time in the tournament, but I just think he kind of stepped up there. Really big lad, really strong lad, and he can shift as well though. He's got really good ball skills, which is really adds great value to your team, especially against a dynamic Australian pack as well. I think that's going to be really important. So that's me. So 4 and 5, we're not going to bother about like left side, right side, tight head, loose side lock, whatever. So I've went with number 4. I've went with George Martin for England. And number 5, I went with McCarthy of Ireland.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not. I went with two different options.
Don't be a doji. Don't be a doji. Don't be a doji.
No, don't worry. It's not a Toji. So my first of two not in form picks was Scott Cummins. Just fucking Itoji is so overrated. And then at 5, I've went with Tad Byrne.
Interesting. Now, you know something. I think you'll be quite pleased with my bench. I feel based off your kind of picks and that. Yeah, we are kind of similar, but a little bit different at the same time. I went with George Martin, and maybe it's a bit of bias. I actually really, really like him as a player, especially given the Six Nations that he just had. He's just an absolute monster. He's what 6'7". I dare say he could possibly cover the back row, but he won't be needed because the back row at disposal is just insane, which we'll get onto in a minute. But I'd say George Martin, absolute powerhouse. I think he's criminally underrated. I would have him over Itoje. Itoje just kind of costs too many penalties these days. I know he's a good leader and he does have some brilliant games from time to time, but he's too much a liability for me, especially at the highest level for the Lions. And Joe McCarthy, I think he's just, again, for the past, three Six Nations, he's just played absolutely out his skin, and he's a very young lad, and what a promising talent he is. Not even a promising talent anymore, he's actually established, touching the world-class second rower. So that's my second row. 6, 7, 8. Now this was the hardest for me. I'll go number 6, you can go with number 7 and 8. So number 6, I'm kind of cheated here. I've went with Curry. Which one? I'll leave that for you to decide because I'm very undecided which one which one deserves it more. Honestly, you could have either. Who have you went with?
Yeah, I went with Tom Curry.
Okay. You know what? For content value, I'll go with Ben Curry. Why not? I think, but like I say, both of them could battle it out against each other, and they can both play six. I know Tom Curry can also play 7 or 8, even though it doesn't quite work at 8. But I think both of them will be on the tour anyway. 100% will both be on the tour. But I'll go with Ben Curry. I mean, for the both of them, that dominant hits they made in turnovers, more for the dominant hits they made in that tournament, it was just next to none. I'm basing it off the eye test. I'm sure you've got some stats hiding away if needed, but I just know their tackle completion rate was phenomenal, and dominant tackling as well was absolutely next to none.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on the Six Nations statistics website. I'll leave a link to it down below. Tom Curry, yeah, it's not just I'll get on to who I've picked at 7 for the stats, but yeah, Tom Curry, I was impressed with him during the Six Nations, and yeah, just sometimes you don't need stats to back up.
The eye test is the best test. Number 7 then.
Oh, Rory Darge, by far the best blindside flanker. Just that's it.
Okay.
Enough said.
I've went with. I've not actually got Dodge in my team at all. I think he'll be on the tour. If he's lucky, he'll be on the tour. But I've went with Jack Morgan at 7.
I had Jack Morgan in there as well, and then I had a look at the stats, and I seen it rucks hit, tackles. I was just like, yeah, it's going to have to be Rory Darge. Jack Morgan, fair enough for a player to be in that shit a team that Wales are. I was like, fair. Rory Darge also did not win a tournament or anything. By far, I would say Scotland's best forward.
Based off form and against stats and that as well. Yes, I do agree. I can't. It's hard. I struggle to disagree, not just because I'm Scottish, but also because you are speaking sense and the stats don't lie. They are there for a reason. But I went Jack Morgan, influential player. Potentially, I don't think he will be, but with a different coach, he quite possibly could have been Lions captain. But the fact is, Farwell, he won't be captain, and he might not actually start. I can see your argument with Darge. Unfortunately, I've not got him on the bench, which is a shame. But I think he'll be in through the midweek kind of games. I think he'll be there for sure.
I think he'll definitely be on the tour. That's for sure.
There'll be something wrong if he's not. It is a very competitive position, but if you base it off form, but again, what Far will do, I don't know. Number 8, who have you got at number 8?
The worst kept secret in Northern Hemisphere rugby, Mr. Caelan Doris.
Okay, again, I've not went with Doris. I've went with somebody else.
Have we agreed on any players so far?
Don Sheehan.
Wow, just one.
I went with Ben Earl. So
to be fair, yeah, I would see why. Yeah,
I just honestly you can look at the stats and that as well, but he was playing a lot of flanker in the Six Nations. The boy Willis was playing. Tom Willis was playing. Tom Willis, yeah. Jack Willis plays in France. Tom Willis was playing at number 8 quite a bit, but then he did. I think Ben Earl did get shifted over to number 8 eventually, which I mean, quite right because he is probably the best out and out 8, despite being able to play other positions. He's a unit. Size wise, he's a bit shorter than the rest of them, but he more than makes up for it with his explosiveness, and he's good at bargaining a try from time to time as well. So I went with Ben Earl.
Fair enough.
On to the backs now. This is where it gets really interesting, and it kind of opens up a lot. I think we'll be more agreeable on the backs. 9, Gibson Park.
I agree. Yeah, Gibson Park.
Yeah, enough said. Really, there's not really much more to say. 10.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have I ranted on Twitter or on this or X rather or on this podcast about how much I would far rather have George Horne playing than Ben White, but whatever. Gregor Townsend gets paid far more money than me to make that decision. Whatever.
I don't think there'll be a Scottish scrum half in the tour.
I don't know.
If there's anyone, it'll be Ben White. But it hurts me to say it, but I don't think there'll be 10.
Oh, Finn Russell, easy.
Yeah, I went with Finn Russell. There was a couple of articles went up about him about saying, "Oh, is he too much of a risk and everything? Is he just too unpredictable?" But then he goes and plays for Bath the weekend and has an absolute. Well, I think it was the past 2 weekends, and had absolute stormers of games. Like you couldn't fault it. It's back to his best. I believe if he's got the best players around him, literally just like as Carter had the best players around him, just like Wilkinson had the best players around him, just like Farrell had quality players around him. I honestly think that Finn Russell would be one of the best tens of all time if he had the players around him, like in the park in front of him, that could actually set him like a really decent platform. And that's why I think for this Lions tour, if he's got the Cardiff fodder that'll be in front of him, like I guess we both put in our teams, I think he'd be absolutely fine, especially with a nine like Gibson Park, who must take a lot of the pressure off him. Yeah, especially controlling around the park. But also can kind of just like focus on his own game again when he wants it. He can just get it and strike. Gibson Park's more than enough to control the rest of the game.
Yeah, well, I would say as well, like, there's been a lot of nonsense being spoken about Finn Russell. I feel, other than his goal kicking, he had a solid enough Six Nations when he was playing. Yeah, I mean, the 50-22s he can get and unlocking defences. I feel like everybody knows off the cuff he is the best fly half in the world. And actually, no, off the cuff he would be the best fly half option. And I would go as far to say he's the best fly half in the world. There's nobody else that plays fly half that's as good as him right now, in my opinion.
You could argue Finn Smith, but from experience wise, he's not the finished article. I mean,
Nah.
England have played very well, but again, has Finn Smith just got the players around him to really help with that? I mean, you don't know what Russell can do. But never mind. I guess you can see Bath at the top of the Premiership and Northampton that way down there. So, I mean, that maybe says something as well. Okay, so on to the wingers. Do you want to do 11 and 14 or just want to go 11 and 12? Or save back three to last. Go centres first, actually. Go 12 and 13.
Yeah, go centres first. Yeah, I've went Hugh Pilotu. Sione Tuipulotu being the second player not in form that I've picked for this team.
Snap for both of them. I was this close to picking Aki. Honestly, a micro penis size away from picking Aki, but
Size of your own penis.
I just decided to go. Can't see it. I decided to go for Tuipulotu instead. So, reason being, again, if you're going to pick a centre partnership, you want one that's probably quite, especially in such a short turnaround, that kind of understand each other and can bounce with each other. You've got that. You've got it well established with Tuipulotu and Jones. With the Ringrose and Aki, yes, okay, fair enough. But you've got to kind of look at which partnership is better. In my opinion, and it's not a non-biased one, because I know a lot of people agree with me, is Tuipulotu and Jones. And even despite Tuipulotu being out for the whole Six Nations, a lot of folk are still kind of topping him to go as the favourite to start 12, which speaks volumes to me. And Hugh Jones,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the meters made, look at the try scored. Defensively, his defensive game's always been solid, but it's an attacking game that's came on leaps and bounds now. So again, I think it's his time. He's in his prime. This will be his chance to show what he can do on the highest of stages.
Yeah.
Back three.
Yeah, I've went with at 11 Tommy Freeman, 14 Darcy Graham, and 15 Blair Kinghorn.
I've got 2 out of 3. I went with 11 James Lowe. I went with 14 Tommy Freeman. I went with Kinghorn at 15.
James Lowe.
Yeah. And that's a
So yeah, if anybody wants to become like my new co-host on this podcast, like leave a comment below.
What have you got against James Lowe?
I just despise the man, and he had such a basic Six Nations. He's meant to be a big game player. Ireland in general, I think, were pretty basic this season, which maybe doesn't help. It's okay to have an off season, but yeah, I was just whatever, shrug of the shoulders with James Lowe this year.
Well, I do. I was definitely have him over Dewey. I don't know if you would or not. I still have him over Dewey.
Defensively, yeah.
And attackingly. Duhan needs space. James Lowe doesn't, because James Lowe can get an arm away and offload away. Duhan needs a bit of space, and I think that's the difference. James Lowe's a far better rugby player than Dewey. Dewey's maybe a better try scorer, if you like. And he's a lot faster and more powerful. But I think James Lowe's a better rugby player, and he's got a far better boot on him. He's got a quality boot on him. I went with Freeman, and I was torn between Faye Bosso and Freeman, but solely because Freeman's had a hell of a Six Nations. I'd say if it's not going to be Berry, it'll be Freeman that gets player of the tournament. I think it probably will be Freeman. He's probably just kind of pipped it maybe over Berry, but we just don't know. But I was close to going for Faye Bosso, but because he's not had he's been out injured for the tournament, I just couldn't. But I think he'll be on the tour. I think Freeman will as well. Also with Freeman, you can put him at 13 as cover if need be, which is a good bit of aviation. And Kinghorn speaks for itself. He's only 50. What are you frowning for?
Fuck it. Oh yeah, put him at 13 for cover. We're going to have Tuipulotu, Jones, Bundyake, Ringrose, and probably Ollie Lawrence. I don't think we'll need anybody else to cover the centres at all.
But yeah, well, if on match day, say if Hugh Jones breaks his ankle on match day,
talk to the hand, because the face is not listening.
Well, wait till you get my bench, then you'll kind of maybe change your mind, because you can't have 50 boys on a bench. You can only select a certain few. Kinghorn speaks for itself, though. At least we can agree on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay, so my bench, you're going to be my hard. You already are my worst critic, but you can be my critic for the bench as well. So 16, also hooker. I've went with Jamie George.
Okay, fair enough.
17, I've went with Finn Baxter.
Okay. No Schoeman?
I actually wrote his name and I scored it out because I don't think he had that great a tournament. 18, I've went with Ferguson, tight head. 19, I've went with Tydeburn. 20, I've went Ollie Chesham. And that's my like 5 forward. I went with a 5-8, 5-3 split. At 21, scrummy, I've went Thomas Williams for Wales. And no, not just based off that ridiculous no look basketball pass he did the weekend. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but I was ridiculous. 22. So here's when it comes to a bit of like versatility. You want a bit of cover. So I've went with Marcus Smith at 22 to cover 10 and 15, and then at 23, Bundyaki, because he can go 12 or 13. And that is that. And because I was so torn between Tuipulotu and Aki, because I think there's so little that kind of separates them, apart from one plays in blue, one plays in green. So, would there be any changes off the top of your head there that you would put?
I would certainly have put Darge on the bench. That's my immediate thinking. And although I haven't been all that. Although I said Schoeman, I haven't been that impressed with him at Lucid this year. I think both him and Rory Sutherland have played better rugby, and they would be my potential. I think certainly at least one of them will be on the tour. Sutherland was on the last tour.
I think it'd be Schoeman that goes, to be honest.
I don't know.
Another couple of players I was unsure about, I was very close putting in, was Dylan Lake at hooker for Wales, but also Jamie Ritchie. I was going to put him in instead of Ollie Chesham, and I wish I did, but I never. But I think Jamie Ritchie, I think he'd be a bit hard done by if he doesn't get selected for the tour. But again, there's so many good back rowers, it's really difficult. So overall, I went without the 23. I went with 6 Irishmen, 9 English players, 5 Scots, and 2 Welsh. For me, that's a fair representation given the standards of the Six Nations overall. I think that's a fair representation. How many players from each have you got in your starting 15. Probably. I've got 5541.
Let me just see. I've got Genge, English, Sheehan, Irish, Fagerson. I'll just count up all the English guys actually. So Genge, Curry, Freeman. So it's 3 Irish guys. Sheehan, Doris. That's it. Scots. Actually, no. Sheehan, Byrne, and Doris. That's 3. Scots have got Fagerson, Cummings, Darge, Russell, Hugh Jones, Tupelotu, Kinghorn, and Graham. And then English, just on Curry. Oh, and Tommy Freeman.
That's mental.
Wait, I've already done the fucking English. Why am I saying that again? Yeah, and then no Welsh.
Fair enough. Right, well. So I guess we've agreed to disagree on certain things, but
we only agreed on 7 players in the starting 15.
fair. That's not bad, actually, to be fair. That's not too bad. Right, so moving on, I believe there's a lot of conversation that you want to have with me that got brought to my attention from you about post-match attire. So, Andy, what is your gripe?
So, I have played for 2 clubs now, and I'm by no means saying that we should be rocking up like a set of Etonians with tweed jackets, etc. And it might be the inner farmer, like the farmer's son in me coming out here. But I can't help but cringe at guys that just wear polos and jeans after a game and trainers. It should be ideally a club shirt, club tie, chinos or nice breeks, nice shoes, belt. That should be what you go for. I mean, when I was playing for Banff, which, I mean, they dress like footballers after the game. I don't know, some clubs maybe do. I was easily the best dressed there. But that wasn't difficult at all.
Okay, so for me, I couldn't think of anything worse than putting on your chinos, your shirt, your dress shoes, and then going to the clubhouse or whatever after. Reason being because if you spill a bit of beer, that's your nice clothes. So, well, there's also more than that, and also for me, if you, I understand wearing like a club polo, like I completely advocate for that, even though I'm quite bad at it at times. But wearing a club colour, and okay, don't wear trackies, wear something presentable at least, even if it is a pair of black or blue jeans. But where I do draw the line is when it comes to shirt and ties, when it comes to being so focused on stuff like that, because I know there's clubs that focus on that. And one thing I want to say, doesn't make you a better rugby player.
Yeah, but we're not on about being if you're on about that kind of attire and to be on about that kind of why do backs wear scrum caps? Explain that one to me.
Well, in case they've had head knocks in the past, because like
There is no link between head knocks and you're fucking pissing me off.
Hey, I'm not going to name.
I agree. Yes.
I'm not going to name the player, but there was a boy that said he took a knock. He had a bit of a sore bit at the back of his head, so he wore a scrum cap just to protect it a bit. And hey, why do you follow?
I mean, I don't want to go out and dress like a chav or a footballer after a game of rugby. I want to dress smart, presentable. Of course, you wouldn't know that because you're from the Broch.
Would you like to pack a gimp suit as well, or what?
No, I wouldn't want to copy your style.
Of course. No, you don't say it. Like I do get. Well, sometimes there's a thing where like folk have a heavy focus on it on an away day. I can semi-understand it on like a big bus journey away day, but at the same time, that's probably when it'll be the most messy, and you've got to get kind of pissed and arsed. So again, at the same time, does it actually make sense? For me, you do want like your club shirt and your club tie that you wear for formal events and whatnot, but how can you expect somebody to do it all the time? I don't know. Like I say, I'd rather folk be comfortable with what they're wearing, turning up. turning up to the pub, having a few pints, socialise, go home, instead of, which has happened many times before, is turning up with my shirt, getting absolutely minkered, wake up on the Sunday, still in my shirt, covered in like VBLs or something like, or even just stains of Guinness. And I'm like, shit, I've got to clean this for next week. And
Have you heard of washing machines?
What, to take out a stain off white?
In terms of the effort, it's not difficult to pack that stuff.
In terms of getting a Guinness stain out of a white shirt, too, right? It is. All the teams I've played for have had white shirts. Maybe you're a bit different. Maybe you've got like a blue or I don't know, a black shirt even, which would be easier. But no, not for me. Not for me. I don't like it. But I guess we can agree.
I'm listening for an after game function. I'm not going to a funeral.
Well, for a black shirt, you can wear white shirts for funerals. Anyway, so we're derailing a bit now. So I guess we'll agree to disagree on that one. But for me, it's okay. You can't dress formal if you like, but as long as you've got a kind of bit of kit on. At my club just now, you get fined for not wearing shirt and tie, but I'm yet to be fined. I'm yet to wear shirt and tie. So long may that continue. Maybe they're scared of me. You never know. I've got psychopath.
Oh yes, scared of the tiny fly half. Fairly. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. I am genuinely quite interested about this.
Yeah. I don't know if we can make you might be able to find out after once you've uploaded it, but maybe try and make a poll. I don't know if you can or not unless it's alive, but maybe try and get a poll and see what folk think, because I think, fuck it. But I think there'd be a lot of folk that are with that traditional values that would be like, yeah, let's encourage it. I can understand, Simon, I'm willing to negotiate here. How about normal trousers like jeans, but a shirt and tie without the chinos? No chinos.
No, that has to be chinos.
Fuck that.
And no trainers either.
We're going to call it there because you're going to piss me off, because I've never worn chinos and never will. Awful things.
That's because you're from Stoke.
Probably. Probably. Right. Okay then. Well, that's been everything for this week. One last thing. Leave a comment as well. Who do you think's going to win player of the tournament for the Six Nations? For me, I'm saying it now. I think it'll be Freeman. Possibly Albieri, but I think it'll probably be Freeman. What do you think, Andy?
Probably be Albieri, and yeah, I'm doing that just to annoy you.
That's fine. It's fine by me. I hope I did also want it to be Kinghorn or even Menicello to get back to back, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be Freeman, and you think it'll be Albieri. Okay, excellent. There we go. So, thank you for listening. That's the end of the episode. A nice 33 minutes of your time. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one in a bit. Goodbye.
Bye.